I was working at NBC and working with two producers, Chris Beard and Alan Bly. We had done a lot of shows together, including a couple shows in Canada. And when they started the show, they asked me if I would do the show, and I was very nervous about it. And I knew that Bob Mackie was quite enamored of Cher. He'd worked with her on a Carol Burnett show. And I asked Bob if he did Cher's clothes, if I would do the rest of the show, if he'd be interested. And he said yes. So the producers hired him to do Cher, and then I did the rest of the show.
So you knew Bob previous to?
Yes, I had worked with Bob before that. We'd worked together. I can't remember when we started, but it seems like we've known each other all of our lives. Cher also wanted Bob. I knew Cher wanted Bob, but they were afraid of. I don't think they thought they could afford him. But Bob was so generous in what he did the show for. He was paid practically no money to do that show, but he wanted to do Cher. I mean, the two of them were incredible together. I mean, he would say, "Why don't we do such and such?" And she'd say, "Yeah," no matter how wild, how far out. She loved the fact that she was playing dress up, and he loved the fact that he had somebody to dress up. But as far as his generosity as working with me, if I had problems with something else on the show, he always came to my rescue. He was just terrific.
What was it like with you when you, in those early days working with him, and what was your relationship with it like with him?
Well, we started out, I don't know how I can't even remember how we started, but he came to NBC and started working on shows, and I kind of was working as an assistant to the head of the department, and I kind of showed him around, and we just became friends. He was very outgoing, and he was so eager to do and to share his talent. And it was just that we became very close friends, and then we started working together. And then you never worked for Bob, you worked with him, and he was just so giving. I really don't think I would have worked half as much as I've worked in my life if it hadn't been for Bob. He really pushed my career along. And as far as Cher goes, she was just so in love with what he did. And she was great. She just loved putting on anything. She would do anything. She would try anything. The famous white Indian bonnet, I know you've seen that, standing by the horse singing Half-Breed. I had done a show with Fred Astaire, and we did a number with, I don't even know what the number was, but in the number was Iron Eyes Cody. Do you remember who he was? Mm-hmm. And I had done it was an all-white number, and I had done a white Indian outfit for him. And he said very simply that he would only wear his own clothes, and he would not wear my white Indian outfit. So there I was with this white Indian bonnet, and I'd exaggerated, and it was quite long. And when it ended, I went to Bob, and I said, "Don't you think there's a use for this somewhere?" And he said, "Yeah, I think we can find a use for it." So he designed that very brief little loincloth and bra, and we put Iron Eyes Cody's white Indian bonnet on Cher, and it finally had a life on camera.
What was the collaboration like on that show, the Sonny and Cher? How many, in terms of with writers, choreographers? It was
wild because there was so much to be done in such a short period of time that they gave you a script, and we had a production meeting, and you never met with anybody else. You didn't get a chance to. You just started doing it. And Chris and Alan were incredible. They didn't care as long as it looked right. I don't know what the money situation was like, but I know Bob and I went over budget quite often. We tried to hold it down, but you couldn't help but go over budget. And they were so good about it. They just wanted everything on camera. They wanted the money to show on camera. And they were so happy with what we did that it was a pleasure working it. It was a run. And you must remember, at the same time Bob was doing that, he was doing the Carol Burnett show. Fortunately, they were on the same studio side by side, so it helped somewhat. But it was pandemonium. We just ran the whole time. I had 3 workrooms working. I had NBC was making part of the clothes. There was a tailor by the name of Joe Cotroneo who made all of Sonny's clothes for me. And CBS made some of the clothes, so the clothes were made everywhere just to get them done.